Hey guys, this is Josh here, Trillium Wild Edibles, and today I want to show you how to make your very own mint flavoring. This is one of the easiest things to do with wild edibles, is to make your own flavoring or extracts, and you can do this with any number of plants that you really enjoy their flavor. Here you can see I have a form of mountain mint, and this is one of my favorite type of mints to use because I really enjoy its flavor. However, you can use any mint or any plant that you enjoy the flavor from to make your own flavoring or extract. Making your own flavoring or extract is not much different than making your own tincture. One of the biggest differences is that you're not going to be using the plant for medicine. Instead, you're going to be using it for food. You only need a few things to make your own flavoring or extract from any plant that you enjoy its flavor or its tastes. You're going to need some vodka or some good, clear, non-flavored alcohol that's at least 40% or higher. You're going to need a glass jar, like a ball mason jar. Of course, the lid. You're going to need a strainer, and you're going to need some way to dry the plant after you give it a quick rinse. If any of you guys want to learn how to identify the plant that I'm using today, I'll put a link in the description below on my identification video on how to identify Virginia mountain mint. Alright, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, the first thing we want to do is we want to look over our mountain mint or any of the plants that we have that we're making our flavoring from, and we want to take off any of the bad spots or any of the nasty looking leaves. And we just want to go through and give them a good look and make sure we don't include any parts that are nasty or any parts that we don't want. Alright, and for this flavoring or this extract, we're going to be using the leaves of this mountain mint just like you can see here. We're not going to be using any of the stem. The main reason for that is I just don't find it has too much of a flavor on this variety. I prefer to use the leaves. However, you may be different. You may prefer something else, and that's okay. The thing is, you want to kind of experiment a little bit, and you want to kind of see which part of the plant you like the most for its flavor, and then that's the part you want to use. So on this mountain mint, for example, I enjoy the leaves, so that's what I'm going to be using. But I'll get all these leaves shucked off of here, and then after I get that done, I'll get back to you guys whenever I'm ready to rinse them off. Alright, now that we've got all of our leaves plucked off, let's take this over to the sink and give it a quick rinse. Alright, here we go. Just give them a quick little rinse off, just like this. Don't need to soak them too long. Just a quick rinse and then let them drain. Alright, I want to bring things back over here because my sunlight kind of went away over on the kitchen table. So I want to bring things over here on the kitchen counter where it's a little brighter. We just want to lay these out. Nothing fancy here. Just make sure you lay them out kind of good. Alright, and once you've got them laid out, go ahead and get yourself a few paper towels and lay them over the top. And just kind of push them down very gently with your hands, kind of pat them dry. Whenever I do this with my herbs, any of my herbs, whether it be for medicine or food, I usually like to let them sit just a few minutes. The reason that is because through wicking action, this cotton or this absorbent paper towel is going to wick up any moisture or any excess moisture that I wasn't able to get off of these herbs or these plants, in this case these leaves. And that helps to ensure that I've got my plants really good and dry. And then we want to let these sit for just a couple minutes, and then I'll get back to you guys. Alright, so now that it's been a couple minutes and our leaves are good and dry, the next thing we want to do is we just want to kind of gather them up a little bit. And once you've gathered them up, just go ahead and give them a little bit of maceration with your hands. This will help to relieve a little bit of the volatile oils and essential flavors out of this plant or any plant that you're using. This is something that you should do anytime you're making, especially a flavoring, because you really, really want those flavors and those oils to be extracted out, and this will help make your flavor a lot more flavorful. And now the next thing we want to do is we just want to stuff these in this jar. We want to pack this down nice and tight whenever we're done. So just go ahead and get all of your leaves or all of your herb into the jar that you're using. You may be able to see here how I have 1 cup of herb, and this is completely packed down, so that's something to keep in mind is you want about a cup. The reason that is because it makes a good amount of flavoring, and it'll actually make enough depending on how much you use that you might be able to give away a bottle or two to family or friends if they're interested. So now you just take your vodka or your alcohol of choice, and you make sure to cover the herb, so we need about a cup of vodka. Take a wooden implement of some sort and stick it down in there and kind of give the herbs another good packing, because whenever you add the liquid, it's going to kind of freshen them up, and what's going to happen is it's going to create a lot of space in between the herb and the liquid that you've added, or alcohol or vodka in this case. So we just want to make sure to give them a good packing. Make sure all of the herb and all of the leaves are completely submerged inside of this liquid. We don't want any herb sticking out, because if any herb does stick out, there's a good chance for it to develop mold. Alright, and then once we've got that done, the next thing you want to do is want to go ahead and put your lid on the jar. After you get the lid on the jar, you want to give it a really good shaking. And then go ahead and give it one more tamp down to make sure that all of the herb is completely submerged. Alright, and the next thing we want to do is just go ahead, make sure you label and date your jar so that way you know when you started it. Alright, and then once you put the lid on it and labeled it, go ahead and put it in a dark spot, and you just want to let it sit there for anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, just like you're making a tincture. I thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to learn more about edible and medicinal plants, make sure to subscribe.